Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Actuality. Wipe that sleep out of your eyes. You've been in shadow too long. Welcome to A Woman with Hollow Eyes, Season 2, Episode 1. I'm so excited. So I'm Darcy Ross. I'm going to be your GM as we play Invisible Sun tonight. As we step into a world of surreal magic, secrets, lies, trickery, rituals, and presumably antics with these two. So I'll be your GM, but why don't we, and I'm Darcy Ross, I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be playing all manner of NPCs with all manner of pronouns. So James, why don't you introduce yourself?
I am James D'Amato. My pronouns are he, him, and you might recognize me from the One Shot podcast, where I am the host, or the campaign podcast, specifically the Skyjacks arc, because I am also the host and GM there. I am going to be playing Calvin Weaver tonight. Calvin Weaver is a somewhat newcomer to actuality. He is awoken from our world that we think of as the real world, that is the lie called Shadow, and he's been dropped into a far more magic and also more dangerous world, and he's adapting at his own pace.
Absolutely. And Adira.
Hello, I'm Adira Slattery. I'm playing Shayna Zaman. My pronouns are she, her, and my character's pronouns are also she, her. Shayna is a apostate and rabble-rouser in the city of Satyrine. She is a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to this.
Excellent. So we're going to have some audience interaction opportunities tonight. I also wanted to say that I sent out the backer surveys to people who helped bring this season to life. So I have a bunch of cool NPCs and flux and summonables for us to encounter. So I've got those that have been submitted so far at the ready. And but we'll also have an opportunity for anyone watching live tonight to influence the narrative. James, do you want to introduce which ones those are?
Yes, so
since I have already forgotten.
We have at the 200-bit level, that will grant us a Bene, one of these neat little discs. We'll be able to spend that on +1 to a roll. In normal Invisible Sun, it just counts for 1. In our version, I think we've progressed to the point where sometimes we pile them on at our leisure. That is not the standard rules, though. At 300, you will be able to draw a new Sooth card.
Yes.
Drawing a new Sooth card can dramatically change a situation because the Sooth deck influences the theme of a particular scene that you're going with. So you can make some pretty big differences there. Finally, at 500 bits or subscribing to the stream, you can give us a sortilege. That's one of these handy D10s here. Essentially, when we spend sortilege, we can add extra dice to rolls, which can have a dramatic effect on the outcome. So if you really want to help us out by shifting the odds in our favor, that's the way to do it.
And they will need the odds shifted in their favor, friends, for we pick up as Calvin and Shayna are being dragged off by the enormously tall, imperious statures of the Thaw. So I think these are towering, 8-foot-tall entities with strange armor and lots of red in their carriage, and they have scooped you up. I think, how are they holding each of you? They might be holding you differently. There are 3 Thaw sort of marching you off toward God knows where, jail, something.
I think Calvin has instinctually placed his hands behind his back as though he were handcuffed, though he is not.
Oh, okay.
He looks very scared, extremely rattled. He's not really trying to argue very much. He just mostly looks very sad.
Okay, and how does Shayna look?
Shayna is being held like aloft physically from the ground with both of her hands grabbed by one of the Thaw, as she previously tried to stab him a little bit.
Yeah, that checks out.
And she is definitely like kicking and resisting and spitting out all manner of curses.
Opening Calvin's ears to new curses entirely, and perhaps some of the street as well. So the first Sooth card we're going to play is Tyrannical Clock. It is enhancing the the Notions family, which is going to be our friend Calvin here. So Calvin's enhanced a little bit. So you have an enhancement token thing somewhere.
Oh, yes,
Put it.
that
we have
is
all the
right
bits now, so we
here.
can play with like the intended parts and pieces. And I'm sure I'll use them wrong initially, but yeah, this is perfect. So you can feel a flow of magic flowing through you well. So we're going to place that down on the Path of Suns. I think I start up here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that I believe that is
Sometimes
the
I screw
correct
that up. Perfect. So you're passing kind of, you're in this district that has a bunch of coffee shops / yoga studios that's really being inundated by a lot of this influence from shadow. And so you're being dragged past shop after shop after shop. But the thought immediately, just a couple yards away from where you've been taken, as the coffee shop you had exited turned into some strange creature and started walking off.
Oh, right, that's what happened.
Yeah, you did that, I believe. So that creature is sort of walking off into the distance, and the Thaw seem to be moving straight forward, but all of a sudden, although their steps are moving the same way, you find yourself moving laterally into an alley that seemed too small for you to enter. You enter this alley, and there are, it seems to be full of gears. It's almost like you stepped into the back of some kind of clock. There's all sorts of pendulums and strange brass fixings and lots of little lights that kind of glow from inside. This is clearly some kind of elaborate in-between place. And do any of you, are you trying to like escape their clutches? Are you being, are you allowing yourself to be taken peacefully? They're not saying anything to you.
Calvin is certainly being taken peacefully. He has no idea what's going on.
Okay.
Shayna has an idea what is going on and knows that basically most of her resistance is pretty futile, but she's still doing it anyways.
Okay, cool. So you're giving some good kicks.
Yeah.
Are you using magic or just sort of physically trying to?
Just physically trying. Yeah.
All right. They are extremely powerful, and your attempts are as yet unnoticed by the Thaw. But suddenly, as you're walking through this weird interstitial space with lots of loud chimes and clickings, you hear that. Sorry, just watching chat. People are saying stuff. Yay! You start to see the sort of the gears and everything. A number of them sort of chunk in and click over, and you notice that a bit of that wall kind of fades in as though it were an illusion. Unclear if it was or not, but it sort of fades away, and you are entering a big marble like atrium with a little like pools of water and very beautiful, strange plants sort of growing up around the ceiling of the room. And you see that there's a podium with a woman with really strange like earrings that seem to hook over her ears and hang down all the way to the floor. And she's sort of leaning on this podium looking at you. You know that, so this conjures a memory that you have. She is going to test your identities. So that, if you're comfortable with that, you can do so. If you would like to thwart her as she's sort of processing you, that might be a thing you would know to do. So the Thaw sort of dump you unceremoniously into the room and float back out into that clockwork hallway. The lady is sort of still looking down at a sort of journal she's writing in and not paying you much attention.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Are you a supervisor?
Supervisor? She looks at you over her glasses.
When I was taken away, they didn't read any rights or explain why we were under arrest or anything, and I'm just trying to get my bearings straight.
Unwelcome child, also enhancing notions for Calvin, so good for Calvin.
Enhance!
Yes.
Why are all the cards that
actually,
enhance
this is
me?
-1 for you, because it's the apprentice.
Diminish!
Diminish. The flow of magic is moving around, so unwelcome child. So this woman is really not having your naivete about this. What are you doing? Are you being quiet, letting him take the...
Shayna's just sort of like trying to sort of melt a little bit sort of into a corner, see if, just sort of like see what happens from Calvin talking to her, and just sort of getting ready and trying to check to see if she has anything in her pockets that might actually help.
Excellent. So this woman is kind of giving you, is not wanting to answer your questions. She says, you're here for processing. I have to take you in. You know what you've done. Bring out your hand. Her fingers turn into 5 different kinds of feathers, and she starts touching the palm of your hand and sort of moving along the lines and the creases of it and going, oh, interesting.
Yeah, since this isn't Calvin's first life,
Yeah.
is that affecting this at all?
Why don't you give me a roll to figure out if you can sort of ascertain? She's making a lot of expressions, but she seems sort of so expressive generally that like it's hard to tell what she's gleaning from your palm.
I am going to spend a point of perception on this.
Perfect. You're diminished, remember?
So I rolled a 9 with
Wow.
so that actually comes to 9 with the
Yeah.
bonus that I got.
Excellent.
And I don't think I do have comprehend at 3 as a skill.
Comprehend. Okay. You won't even need that skill because
I
you
think that's
rolled so high, right? So you're watching as those feathers sort of move along the lines. But I think, well, let's see. She has a tell. Is it in her eyes? Is it in her hair or something?
Is she a human-looking person?
She's big. She's humanoid. She looks like she might be some kind of human Vizsla. She's some kind of magic user.
I like the idea of something, because she looks so normal human, something completely unnatural being the tell, but
Yeah.
still subtle.
Yeah. I think there's a locket she's got on, and it's got like it's not even like an open and closed locket. It just has the portrait of somebody, but it's that is sort of shifting. It's this portrait of like maybe a really angular kind of serpentine-looking humanoid. So kind of got scaly skin, really high like eyebrows, like a high brow, and that thing is sort of like locked eyes. While she's focusing on your hand, that thing is locking eyes at you, and it says something, right? So it's going to, it sort of flicks a long tongue, and then sort of detecting the chemicals in the air, and you see it. It gives you a salute.
Ooh.
So it's getting, yeah.
Yeah, Calvin, I think, like, is first looking at her, then looking at his hand, and then his eyes catch the necklace, and like, it's a snake, so there's like this kind of hypnotic gaze between the two of them.
Yeah.
It salutes, and he's just like, what?
She says, well, you've been approved. You'll be moving on through processing. This shouldn't take too long, but I do warn you that any lies will be detected. We're here to find out the truth. Any secrets will be revealed. Just let this process happen, and it'll all go easier for all of us.
Oh, that sounds so great. Thank you very much.
All right, a marble tile that you're standing on drops below the surface. All right, and she says, now for you, honey.
Shayna walks up, goes, "Hi, Judith."
Excellent, excellent. Does she call you Shayna? Does she call you?
Probably Shayna, yeah.
Okay. Oh, you again.
The gloves work this time?
Not this time, I'm afraid. New tricks, new tricks. So she pulls out her feather fingers. You notice that the pendant is sort of giving you is sort of charmed by you, is trying to catch your eye, trying to get your attention. Definitely wants to get your attention.
Pendants.
Pendants. Exactly.
Can't live with them, can't live without them.
Weeping Priest is the card I draw. It's enhancing secrets, which is it's the apprentice of secrets, which means you're diminished.
Womp womp.
Cool. I want to look what this one is. Weeping Priest, because we're about to enter a region of Saturnine that's, got interesting cloistered halls. Its meanings are betrayal, weakness, turnabout, disillusionment, and loss.
That's new for us, but not new thematically.
Yeah. Excellent. So, what could this woman is going to betray you in some way. She says, There's a new protocol, Shayna. I'm afraid you'll have to wear this bracelet. You've just been in here too many times. So she sort of takes off a bracelet with 3 different gemstones on it and sort of unlocks the metal band and is starting to put it around your wrist. Okay. Excellent. So you're just willing to go along with this, and she says, you know the drill, in and out, good luck.
Wow, that's fun.
She flicks her fingers a little bit, the feathers sort of undulate, and you drop through a tile down below. You find that the path down is winding and wending, and the gravity seems to move around a bit. You kind of are falling and falling, and then you're falling to the side, and it's all very disorienting. It's all very familiar to you.
Yeah.
Exactly, but when you slam down below, you notice that you're in a really overgrown, full of ferns, kind of a beautiful courtyard. There are sort of cobblestones with moss on them, and there seem to be ancient stones here that might have, this place might have been filled with different arches and structures, but it's all sort of overgrown now. It's very humid down here, if that's accurate. And you notice that there's many little passageways out away from this courtyard into some sort of facility.
What is happening?
So we're being processed, and then we'll be convicted.
Is there going to be a trial?
Sort of.
That does not make me sound hopeful. What does sort of mean?
Sort of means that there'll be many things that we'll be trying. That's a trial, right?
Okay, I am trying to take a couple steps back because my whole bird thing led to us meeting.
Yeah.
But
and I'm sorry for getting you into all this stuff. It's obvious that you haven't really been running with the law very much.
No, I haven't. I didn't even know there was still a law. There are so many criminals and predators out in Saturnine that I didn't think there was anybody around to stop them.
Yeah, you don't really stay in jail for long.
Well, I guess that's good. Like, what's the longest you've been arrested before?
Yeah.
What's the longest you've been in jail?
It was like 50 years once.
Your definition of not very long and my definition of not very long are very, very different things. Very different. So different.
But that was just because I couldn't escape that time. They changed some of the locks.
It's about escaping.
Mostly.
You feel a little tendril of a vine sort of encroaching over your shoulder.
He runs forward a few steps and turns around and starts swatting at things.
You hear an ouch as a ghost sort of steps out from the vine, sort of against this pillar that he was hiding in, phasing through, unclear. But you seem to have harmed this ghost. This ghost is, I have a cool NPCs. So this ghost is going to be a woman with a long ball gown, and she has like a half of her face missing diagonally. So it just seems you can kind of see sort of a hollow space inside. And she sort of steps forward and she says, "Excuse you."
Goodness, I'm so...
Watch where you walk. Shayna, darling.
Hello.
I'm sorry. I apologize for striking out and lashing out. You did kind of initiate a little bit of physical contact without warning me or saying anything or asking permission first, and I think that's not great.
You've been arrested. There's going to be a lot of physical contact.
Okay, but you announce it. It's polite. I'm sorry. I'm in a bad mood today. Today is not going very well.
I see. A new one. The vine, of course, is one of the new trials. So that wasn't me, but I've passed through, and I'm sure you'll find it quite simple.
What does the vine do?
Well, I'm not allowed to say, of course.
Yeah.
They take it from me, but I see that no time has passed, so it must have been easy.
Let's hope all the trials are like that, right? Do they institute new trials often?
Yeah.
So we have no idea what we're in store for.
Yeah, and they mostly pull it out of your brain after you've done it.
Otherwise, what would be the point for folks like Shayna?
Too comfortable with that. Okay. I will talk to my Garrett about this system later then.
I'm sure you will.
Good luck with that. She sort of ghosts away.
Bye.
Yep, exactly. I drew Conspirator. It's the defender of secrets, so it's actually going to help you out. +2 to our friend Calvin here, as
Double enhanced.
Enhanced!
double enhanced, exactly. So the Conspirator, whispering secrets. So the vine is still trying to reach you. Ooh, let's see, that's a sub, so that is going to be Sortilege.
Sortilege, so choose who you would like to... Oh, there are 2 subs. So I
Nice.
see one is from...
Kevin Lovecraft.
So Barely Normal gifted a tier 1 sub to Dr. Captain Cobalt. So I think that is
Yeah.
just 1 sub.
Yes.
But
And
it looks
then
like...
Kevin Lovecraft.
And Kevin Lovecraft also. So
Yay, thank you for the
please
subs.
choose
Yay.
who you would like to gift Sortilege to
Yeah.
amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Excellent. So the vine is starting to reach out toward you, and it's wanting to sort of envelop around you. It seems to be coming from this pillar. You notice as your eyes sort of adjust to the weird light in here that there are a number of other entities kind of in various states of being enclosed by vines across some of these other columny things. It's really quiet in here and drippy. You can hear the sound of just moisture sort of falling down old bits of rock. It feels like a place you could very much... You could die here and no one would ever know.
That is the thought that is running through Calvin's mind presently.
Excellent. So what do you do?
Sheena looks at it, looks at the pillar itself. The vine, where is it coming out of the pillar exactly?
Yeah, so there's this stone, column, and it's the vine. So there's all sorts of like mossy growth and other kinds of weird detritus on the sides of it, kind of black moldy bits and weird kind of lichenous stuff. But the vine seems to be there's actually little perforations in the stone, and you've noticed that the tendrils of the vine seem to be coming from deeper within the column.
I think we have to bust open the stone.
Wait a minute. This trial phase, our freedom legally is predicated entirely on our ability to escape the confinement that we're in?
An amount, yeah.
Okay. So we just gotta bust open these stones, huh?
Well, at least that one with the vine.
All right. Are we supposed to hurt the vine?
Let's not hurt the vine first.
Okay. Well, that's a
Still trying to reach out and
no-brainer.
grab you.
Shayna is going to attempt to slow down the vine with some of her warp's time and space powers,
Awesome.
which would likely, with that bracelet. I don't know how that would affect that. But she's going to try.
Yeah, you notice that the bracelet is very warm on you, but you haven't. It hasn't made itself clear what it's doing.
Okay.
And you've noticed that Calvin has no bracelet.
Yes. Well, Calvin, Shayna's going to try and activate a power.
Cool. Do you know which power, or do we need the key to see them?
The key really quick.
Cool. Yeah, I do not have it. I think they're over there.
I believe so
but
as
I
well.
can grab it on the PDF. All right, so you're cooking up a weave. We've got a number of people down here. Do you see anyone you recognize, Shayna? Like any other criminals that you notice are sort of getting enveloped by this,
By the vine.
by the vine?
Shayna would probably, Shayna sees a little sort of like furry, almost like ferret man.
Furry ferret man. All right, awesome. Yeah, so you're going to look up abilities, and you are cooking up a weave.
Yeah, so I've got my weave whenever we're ready for that.
Okay.
This is going to be my first time using this weave, and I am going to use the skill that I got at the end of last season, which is creation. Essentially, every time I cast a unique spell or do a spell for the first time, I get +3 to my roll because of my skill. So I am going to be using Freedom and Infinity. Calvin takes the silver button on the bottom of his vest and the gold button on the top of his vest, and he points them towards each other to create an infinite mirror effect. And from between that, he pulls out a strand of infinity. He then takes a moment to like stand. He stands with his arm out, and he like does like kind of a graceful dance move. And I think because it's Calvin, it ends in a dab.
Oh no!
And in that dab, he grabs a strand of freedom. He takes those two together. Yeah, dance is a free. It's like a free moving expression. It counts. And then he winds them together, and it like he winds them together over this stone. And I think the thing that he doesn't notice, because he's so deep in thought about how to do this, is that the vines are like creeping in on him. Like, well, I think Shayna is doing a admirable job of like slowing them down.
Yeah, Shayna is specifically using an ability called diverted angle. What that does is it makes the space that the vine would travel along longer, and at different weird angles, so the vines effectively are passing longer and farther away.
Excellent.
Oh, cool, cool. I like that a lot. So yeah, I think the vines are probably, then maybe they're not even slowing down so much as they're moving faster against a greater distance.
Of course.
So Calvin doesn't know all of this danger is behind him. He's so focused on this rock. And he is going to be using Escape from Freedom, and he's going to be using Other Universes from Infinity.
Oh, God.
And essentially, he is going to make this rock free from our dimensional plane, so it just wanders between dimensions. So sometimes it will be here, and sometimes it will not be here.
Okay.
Spend 5 sorcery for using that ability. You got it. All right. Are you going to spend any sortilege? So you've got Venture +2 because you're enhanced from the card. +3 because it's your first spell, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, first time casting this spell.
So that's a lot of pluses, but you are trying to pull some big F-off spell work here, so.
Yeah, oh, I guess, should I set a level for this spell before I cast it?
Yeah, so you've got that spell effect by level table.
So
This is how you compare. I'm singing in a forgotten tongue to a tiny golden beetle with I'm going to make this stone exist out of time and space for a while.
Yeah, so I think this...
How do you like boil that down to levels? This table.
For the folks at home who did not join us for season 1, when I weave my spells, I have to take 2 different disparate concepts and find a happy middle between those two to actually create a spell effect. There are absences that each of my aggregates for weaving has. So there are certain things that Infinity can't do and Freedom can't do. So I managed to make this not imprisonment, despair, or structure-based, and it's not about captivity, endings, or understanding. So I'm good on that front, I believe. Darcy can always tell me that I'm not.
I think you're good.
So the other thing that I have to do is choose a level of the effect. And for this, I need a level 9 because that will allow me to teleport anywhere in this or any universe.
Yep. Level 9, very auspicious number. You've got 5 ventures so far.
I will, because I got the sortilege, and you know what? I want to use it. I am going to spend the sortilege on this to, you know, beef up this roll a little bit.
There you go.
So that is an 8 with all of the additions that I have going for me. That's going to be a 13,
An 8 and a 4.
I think.
Perfect.
Nice.
Which is a lucky number, right? 13?
You got it, Calvin.
I got 13! Woo! That is how you crit in this game.
Very auspicious. Excellent. So you are. So how does your magic? What does it look like when it lands on this? And so these vines are almost looking more and more angry as you start weaving this spell. But you are just as they're about to sort of get to Calvin, you are adjusting their trajectory, and suddenly they're swirling out into this courtyard, and then they turn around and they're sort of angrily running back at you, and you divert them again.
So I think the stone is the subject of it, and I think the Statue of Liberty's crown.
Yeah.
I feel like Sailor Moon style, these pillars of light forming this spiked crown encircle the stone. And we zoom in on the camera and we can see that structure is actually a fractal spiked structure within it. There is an infinite structure to this. The crown appears around the stone, and I think once the cycle completes, the circlet of the crown completes, the stone is able to rise up a little bit and just disappears. And to us, it has disappeared. We follow the stone, and we see that the stone is not from this universe. And in fact, it was a different universe. And it goes, zips through this kind of Mobius strip of many different dimensions and planes and possibilities, and zips to a rock pile with other stones that look vaguely like it. And it rests, and we can tell it's a happy rest.
It gives a relieved sigh. Flashing back to Calvin and Shayna, the stone, disappears out of existence, and you can see this, the fine stalk of that vine, the path that it was taking through this ancient rock is clearly some sort of 3D sigil. It's it's almost like those pictures that if you squint your eyes hard enough, you can get it to resolve.
Magic eye pictures.
Magic eye pictures. You're trying to squint and you're trying to move the angle to sort of get it to resolve, and it just won't quite. And that is when your spell is sort of diverting its path, but at the sort of base of it, there's sort of like the stone floor that you're in. Underneath that column, it sort of goes deeper and deeper. This column maybe went very far down, and you've dissipated that. So where the vine's sort of sigil goes deeper into the earth, into the darkness, you see that a canine with a swarm of wasps for a head is leaping out. Sort of red tendrils coming off of it like some strange energy, snarling at you and going to bite you. So we're going to need goodness, I'm going to need a roll to see how quickly you guys figure out that a hound is coming at you.
Yes.
How quick on your feet are you? So this is going to be a movement action. It's going to be our initiative.
I am going to spend a point of movement.
Okay.
Calvin does not have much
Okay.
to his name. Okay, that is a 4. Oh wait, if we're still under the same card and I'm still being enhanced.
We are about to not be, but.
That is a 6.
Okay, excellent. Cool.
So, do we want to go over how to calculate these pools exactly?
So you're going to be, so basically, just like the cipher system, things in Invisible Sun have levels. That makes things easier to wrap your head around, or at least for me. So this creature, called a swarm wolf, cleverly, a canine with a swarm of wasps for a head, smells of copper. It has a level, and it's going to, and so that level is kind of going to be what you're looking to beat for anything that you're trying to interact with it. So trying to move faster than it is going to be a movement-based action. And so you could just roll your mundane die, and you're looking for a 3 or better on it. Or you can spend some bene from the relevant pool to add to your venture, which is basically you're going to add up all your benefits, your venture, and that will add to your roll to see if you hit it. So you spent 1 movement bene, so you had a venture of 1, but then you were also enhanced by the card, giving you +2, so your total venture was 3. This creature's level is 3, and so you were going to be fine. you are getting ready to sort of make some kind of movement roll.
I also spent one
You're gonna spend
for
one, cool.
movement, and I rolled an 8, which gives me a 9.
Okay, 9, excellent. So your pools are also your health in this, also like the cipher system. So you're gonna want to watch that you don't spend more, once you start going, actually they operate differently than the cipher system, and you're fine. You can spend that point and you're not diminished.
Yeah.
I will show you how damage works momentarily. Cool.
Uh-oh.
So you both are quick on your feet, whether it's you're used to anything could pop out at you at any time, and you were sort of weaving all these strange things together. Maybe, what were your 2 weaves?
I had Freedom and Infinity was the last one.
Excellent. I think just as you're letting go of freedom, this thing is popping up at you, and you sort of hang on to that weave as you sort of dodge out of the way as it comes snarling toward you. So you're going to be able to act before it kind of gets its footing. So this thing is down on all fours. You can see that it has really big nostrils, that it's sort of huffing the air. It smells like copper. This thing is clearly to you some sort of creature of the red. You've just, are familiar enough with it. And it's snarling and just looks like it's a belligerent animal that wants to come mess up your day. So what are you two gonna do?
So Shayna was a little quicker on her feet than Calvin. So she's gonna pull out a knife and just go at it.
Okay, you're gonna swipe
the only
at
way
this.
to get a monster.
Beautiful. So your knife is probably like a level 2. So your objects have levels, and that'll add to your adventure. So
And then level 1 skill in light close weapons.
oh, beautiful. So let us see. It has +2 to defenses, so it's a level 5 to beat.
Sure,
to
I'm gonna
sort of
spend one.
defend. Cool. So you're looking for 1 or higher.
2.
2. Okay, excellent. So not the prettiest knife stabbing you ever did, but pretty nice.
Yeah.
So that's gonna do, I think, 2 points of damage since it's a light weapon.
I think so.
Cool. So you take a little, where do you slice it?
Shayna goes directly for the forepaws. Stabbing it towards the head wouldn't really do that much, since the swarm
The head
itself would just sort of sting back.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So Shayna's mostly just sort of trying to slow it down, so it doesn't actually reach Calvin,
Excellent.
who is much
Cool.
squishier.
You're trying to kind of position yourself a little protectively. Beautiful. And what do? So you see that this thing is injured, and it sort of yelps as the knife sort of comes into its arm and pulls it back, and the buzzing of the wasps start to get more intense. So it's sort of growling, but growling heard through a buzz.
I would like to cast this spell that we got. This is a sortilege spell, or is it ephemera?
Ephemera,
That's
yep.
it. So I would like to cast this piece of ephemera.
Sweet.
Now I am noticing. Okay, this is cool.
The top of the next round, I will draw a new card.
I think this is a level 5 thing to cast.
Okay.
So
Hey, these are ephemera made by backers, so I'm really excited to check them out.
yeah, I'm going to spend, I think, 3 on this. I really want to hedge my bets and have this pay off, because this is a cool one. Okay, so I rolled a 2, and I
Okay.
spent 3, so I managed to get 5 exactly,
Okay.
Perfect.
which rules. So this spell is called Fear is the Mind Killer.
Nice.
It is blue.
Cool.
You whisper the fear of your target, and said fear starts manifesting inside of you.
Oh, God.
Whatever that fear is, insects, liquid, or small mammals burst from your ears, mouth, and skin, and you suffer 1 wound while a level 5 fear creature materializes. This creature is able to paralyze the target through fear during the first round.
Holy shit.
If it succeeds, it will proceed to inflict mental damage as it plays out the target's fears. Any attempt to stop the creature will turn the focus to said person/being. So, I have to determine what this. Great.
This
Great.
entity of the red.
Yeah.
It's a strange
Well,
wasp dog creature.
it is a wasp dog creature, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what happens? This is going to be a little abstract. Calvin Calvin has
no.
pulled fear out of himself before.
Yeah.
And he feels the fear well up inside him. And I think just because he did at one point in his life make that an entity, it has a little bit more independence than maybe some of his other emotions.
Yeah.
I guess the only other one that has that is his patience, because that also got pulled out of him at one point.
Yep.
So that like lashes, it lurches forward, and I feel like it controls his magic more than he does, which sort of explains this ephemera manifesting. And Calvin's like chest moves forward as though something is bursting out of him, but I don't think, unless you can see along radio frequencies, that people can see this.
Okay.
What's coming out of Calvin's face and pores and all these different things are radio signals, cell phone tower signals that are currently maybe possibly threatening our bee populations. Look it up, it's very scary. They burst forth, but this also has the dog aspect to it. So those signals are repeatedly shouting "bad dog" in different languages and admonishing this poor creature. That is the level 5 fear creature. I think it is like a big, like it comes out and these radio waves slowly start to manifest this gnarly iron-looking cell phone tower right in front of us.
Are you going to take that wound and have it sort of hinder you a little bit, or are you going to spend a physicality?
Yeah, I think I will
wound,
spend a point of physicality just to not be
wounded.
Wounded.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent. So this looks really painful. Are you like, you know, this is an ephemera, so it's not a spell you've done before. It's just one that sort of came to you. Do you look horrified by what you're doing? Are you sort of owning it? Are you getting weird old Calvin looking fearsome?
I think I think the fear at this point is stronger than him. And you know, because the fear got to manifest in a way. Oh yeah, and I do want to point out that this is by JP Reinfleisch, or at John Reinfleisch on Twitter.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, John.
Yeah, super cool.
That was a wild one.
Yeah.
I think the fear is controlling Calvin more than anything else right now. So immediately afterwards, he was just struck and paralyzed in this moment by fear, and he like comes back into himself and realized that fear has manifested in a form that that he doesn't recognize as one of his fears. He thinks that's strange, and because I think fear spent itself and put part of itself into the spell, maybe it's waned a little bit. And at this point, Calvin has the opportunity to be more analytical. And the thing that strikes him, because I think fear just left him, it's like fresh on his mouth, but not very powerful. I'm not controlling my powers very well.
Cool. Shayna. Oh, what's your reaction as this is sort of coming out of Calvin?
Shayna sort of does like a double take.
Yeah.
And turns towards the little furry ferret monster that she recognizes and goes, "This guy's with me. Holy shit."
Excellent. He doesn't react to you when you say it, but he sort of has his eye. You can see his eyes moving behind his eyelids, his furry little eyelids. Excellent. So the vine, you see that sigil that it's sort of made out of itself, sort of snaps into a new conformation, and it is going to. So it was going for you. You see that it sort of had been diverted a couple times. You're kind of mostly trying to protect Calvin. Maybe now he doesn't need your protection. But the vine
dude's fine.
Shoots out and is trying to hook around you, sort of around your like arm, neck area. So if you want to make some kind of defense roll, you can. So this, you're not sure what level it is, but this is going to be, you might have some particularly good defenses, but I bet not, based on your character. Cool, yeah, you rely on grit.
Yes.
Cool. So this is going to be a level 6 sort of roll that you have to make.
Sure. Is this movement?
This is movement.
All right. I only have one of those left. Is there a thing that happens when they all run out?
Nope.
Okay, cool. That's just
Yeah.
You just don't have access to them,
Yeah.
and there are refreshes too.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I know. There's the
actions.
the refresh that you can do for free, and there's
Yeah.
the refresh that you can and there's the one that takes a day.
10 minutes, etc.
All right, hey, that's a 6, so 7.
Excellent, beautiful. So this thing, you notice that as the sort of pretty, like teardroppy shaped leaf shoots out at you, bits of its the sort of 2 layers of the plant are sort of peeled back, and you can see that there's some sort of strange magic whirling within it that it's trying to sort of inflict upon you, but it just can't get a leverage. You notice that it's swirling with some kind of like blue energy, which reminds you of thoughts. And some kind of blue magic is trying to inflict upon you in addition. So it's almost not trying to slash at you, it's trying to do some kind of magic at you. But it misses. So new round, this is going to be the Enticing Jewel. It's enhancing invisible magic in case you have any. And it is helping out the Visions family, which was our Kitty Heart, who is not with us in jail right now. Although,
who knows with Kitty?
Who knows with Kitty? I bet she would have wheedled her way out of here back in the lobby.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Excellent. So Enticing Jewel.
She could have summoned in a lawyer.
Exactly. So let us. It's your 2 turns before the dog and the vine again. So what are you looking to do? The dog is not going to be able to move this round. You can see that the buzzing and the bad dogging of the radio waves are, it sort of has put its belly down. It's kind of got a paw up by where an ear would be if it didn't have wasps for a head. And you can see that the movements of the wasps are more disoriented. So they're very, very messed up right now.
Shayna's going to try and sort of look at the spell and how powerful does it look to her?
Quite elaborate.
Okay.
Yeah, this looks
so she
like...
probably can't just counterspell it.
No, this looks above your counterspell pay grade.
Yeah. Well, then when you have a knife, every problem is a knife problem.
Yep.
So she's going to try and just chop the head off of the vine so that the spell stops being cast.
Nice, yeah.
All right, spend 1 for accuracy.
Cool. So it was
level 2, and then 1 skill, and then 1 from accuracy. So that's
nice.
4.
4.
That's a 9.
Oh wow, you guys are rolling very hot tonight. Beautiful. So where do you try to just slice off the entire that frond of it? Are you trying to go deeper for the base? There are a couple elements of it. It's a sigil, one bit.
Yeah, she is just going to try and slice off that like single frond, just cleanly cut that bit so that the spell stops.
Excellent. You cleanly cut that bit, but you did roll really well, and you can kind of feel a positive GM shift as magic sort of orients itself in your favor. So have a joy. And
I'm so happy.
What you do is, you have all this power about changing time and redirecting movement and motion and space and time. And so you slice off the frond, and you kind of feel that whole frond and its spell sort of go perfectly still. And so you think that this is something you can study later or possibly make use of. You seem to have stopped that spell in that moment. So instead of killing the spell, you just have frozen it. So that sort of flits down by your foot as an interesting resource.
Just gotta put that in the pocket.
The other vines are sort of swirling around, looking angrier and angrier. What are you doing, Calvin?
So Calvin, now temporarily reduced in fear, begins to study this cell phone tower in front of him. He takes a moment to glance at the swarm wolf. He sort of understands this is a less interesting kind of creature. He looks at the fear, and then I think he's going to take a moment to look at the vines. And I just remembered what my comprehend skill actually was meant to be.
Okay.
That is comprehend unfamiliar forms of magic.
Oh, interesting.
So I think I'm going to make a perception roll.
Cool.
And I will grab, I will spend 1 there, and I'm just going to roll it. Hey, that's another 9, friend.
Hacks.
Plus 3, that's 12. And then, plus the 1 I spent, That's another 13.
All right. So you're trying to comprehend this. The self-encounter is the thing that you brought into existence, right?
Yeah, so yeah, he looked at that and he's like, okay, this is a manifestation of a fear that I don't have. Then he turned to the vines and being like, what is this magic around me? What are these vines?
Okay, cool. You're looking at the vines.
Yeah.
First, take 1 point of hidden knowledge as you sort of feel your mind analyzing things from a new direction. So hidden knowledge is something you can spend on any roll, and it's about little pieces of ideas and hints about how secret things work that you've amassed over time. So rather than it being a specific factoid, you're really noting this, and for a moment it might come in handy later. So, but also what you gain with a very high roll is that this entity is you see it that sigil. It reminds you of something that you read in the journal of Victoria Zhu about a time when she went to the Blue Sun. And you think that this is actually, something about this is transportation magic. And it takes you to some place enhanced by the blue or otherwise, this sort of mind, dreams, mental. What this vine is trying to do is it's going to move you somewhere, having to do with mind and thought.
Interesting.
Yep.
That rules.
All right.
Yeah, so I think Calvin just spent his whole sort of movement
Studying.
like looking at that.
Excellent, excellent. The vine is still active. It's taken some damage, but it's going to sort of shift those sigils around. You cut it something fierce, and it doesn't like that, so it's going to lash out at you. So it is going to be a 6 to try to dodge out of the way, or you can let it do it, or
Yeah,
how
Calvin,
are you going to...
Calvin's going to let this happen.
Excellent. So as it, several tendrils now, one sort of scoops at your foot and another one sort of tenderly, it comes in really fast and aggressive, but as it lays itself across you, it's very gentle. And you can feel a couple of thorns don't pierce your skin. They're sort of there, but you notice it's being very gentle with you. And then, of course, one of the fronds sort of peels open and sticks in on your neck. And you sort of go slack. And so you see Calvin sort of fall to the ground gently.
I do want to make a move in this moment.
Okay.
So
you're letting it wrap, but
yes,
as it's about to spell you.
Yeah, it's about to spell me. Right before it does, I would like to use my my blue ability, which I need to spend 3 sorcery on.
Nice.
This is through my forte for Path of Suns. For the Blue Sun, I may dream about a topic of my choosing and learn 1 fact about it. So if I am going to be put to sleep and sent into the dreaming, I would like to dictate the terms of what that dream looks like. So I think...
What thing are you trying to dream about?
Well, Calvin knows now that when you are taken somewhere by, oh goodness, why can't I remember this name? By the thaw. The thaw. When you're taken by the thaw, you are set to trials. And one of the big disadvantages he has in the situation is he doesn't know what those trials are supposed to be, or what rights he would be entitled to. So I think he wants to, when he is taken to this dream, have that explained to him so that he can manipulate the system to his advantage.
Okay, so you're trying to dream about the thaw trials.
Yes.
And you're going to learn a fact about it.
Yes.
Cool. So I'm going to have you make a roll because functionally you're trying to compete with the dream it wants you to have, more or less, with the dream you're trying to impose your will on. So you can bring to bear, since it's a forte ability, you can actually spend as much bene as you like on it. If you want to be very OP. And you, of course, have some sortilege to bring to bear to this.
Yeah, I think I will use a sortilege in this situation. So that's a 6
is that
and
your
a
flux
9.
I thought it was a 0.
Yeah, it is not.
I have all the fluxes. I have new flux.
Hey, I know us. We'll get to flux.
Cool. So what's the total? So it adds with your spell level?
So it was a level 3 ability, so that's a 9.
Excellent. So you can feel yourself being, your mind sort of, your vision is sort of fading away and something new is sort of bringing forth, you're like, no, I want to dream about this, the thaw trials. And so you're sort of getting that lucid dreaming, you're trying to assert your will in that dream, and it sort of half works. So I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But okay, so you have, what is your turn? What are you going to do as you see, we're sort of at the top of a new round.
Yeah, so
the vine
Calvin
is act.
appears to be being pulled into some, new card.
Yes. Revolutionary. It is the sovereign of secrets, which is
destined to be
Shayna.
erotic, informative dream.
Yep.
I'm enhanced.
Plus 2 for you. Yep, you're double enhanced.
Yeah, double enhanced.
For this sexy card.
You know he's gonna double enhance you.
God dang it.
You know it.
I'm going to take this card out.
Never. They should all be this card.
Yeah.
The card's got good abs.
It's got a lot
Good
of
abs and
good
the penis made of
things.
fire.
Excellent. So Revolutionary is going to be guiding our actions this round. Perfect. All right. So what you see, Calvin, do you snore? Like, is it immediately obvious that you have gone into a slumber?
I think it is. He has fallen into a peaceful sleep. Calvin most definitely snores in a normal life, but this is a weird meditative sleep.
Yeah, cool. But you can see the rise and fall of breath.
Shayna's going to have a thought occur to her, which is an ephemera.
Dangerous
from
thinking.
Geektography.
Yay,
Thank you, Geektography. So, Shayna is going to use Grasp Thoughts.
Oh, Lord.
This incantation allows the caster to draw from their target a memory or thought pertinent to the current conversation or questioning in the hopes to reveal a truth. So Shayna basically wants to see what this vine is forcing you to do.
It, yeah.
So she's going to reach in and pull out the thought so that way it's displayed for her to be able to see.
I love it.
Awesome. The dog is, the dog is still having that cell phone tower happening, is still really scared, and so you're just ignoring it right now, right?
Yeah, she's just totally
Okay.
ignoring the dog.
And
There's
the vine
cooler
is
things happening.
Vine is very occupied.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have pulled that thought out, and you sort of get this camera angle view as we come into. You start to see one. You're sort of zooming in on a little spot of light that's sort of resolving into kind of a room, like a floor, but surrounded on all sides by blackness. So you're zooming in on that, and that is when it starts to shift a little. You can tell that magics are. Would you say so? Your color is kind of gold, right?
Yeah.
You would say.
That is definitely.
This dream is being transformed by Calvin's magic, and so you sort of saw a little figure on kind of an armchair, and now your magic is changing that. So you're trying to find a fact about the thaw trials. So let's see, and you're definitely going to get a fact about it. Okay.
Shayna reaches into one of her pockets, pulls out some little popcorns.
Excellent.
I think there's a person sitting in an armchair.
Yes.
What happens? And I think Calvin's magic is not just gold. Gold is a big theme for him, but he's got the path of the sun's rainbow effect
right.
on his magic. So there's like that kind of super prismy sort of influence that like wiggles into the world. And this armchair, like the arms start to grow flat beneath them, and the chair itself like extends out to be sort of a reclining couch. And Calvin is now sitting in an armchair with a notepad in his hands, standing over the concept, this being that is the thaw trial, as a therapist.
Excellent. I love it. So perfect. So the concept of the thaw trial. So I think the vision you get is one of those big thaw enforcers, sort of hovering, like laying down, but hovering slightly over the sort of lounge chair. And there's a part of the mask that's missing. And inside, you can see swirling images of what you've seen so far of this area. So that's how it's sort of conceptualizing. So you're trying to therapist this thaw trial. So what kind of questions are you asking it?
So Calvin.
Also, is this what we're making sexy, or should I draw a different card?
No, I mean, this is therapy, right? So Freud has got to come up in some respects.
Sorry.
This is.
I don't make the rules.
This is Freudian. It's in there. It's all in there. So yeah, Calvin has this pen in his hand, and he's sort of lightly like got his mouth on it. So what are we trying to accomplish here? What are our goals?
There's murmuring. You see the sort of the person at the receptionist. What was her name?
Judith.
Judith. Yes. You see Judith sort of repeating a thing you've already heard her say. Right. We're here to process you. If you acquiesce, this will go quickly, and we can all be done with this. So you're sort of getting that flash of a thing that's already happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now I see that, and I see that's important to you. But I want to ask, why is that important? Let's talk about your mother for a moment.
You see 3 shady figures, one sort of to the left, one to the right, and one a little raised in front. And they could even be towers for all you know, but they look like 3 very tall, very hazily drawn figures in sort of a fog. And you know that, let's see, you've definitely heard Shayna talk about the Deathless Triumvirate being the ruler of the city. So you see that sort of flicker.
Your mother, the Deathless Triumvirate.
You know, something like that.
Honestly, this seems like an unhealthy relationship where you haven't really advocated for yourself. I'm looking at this situation, and you're a justice system. Right now, you don't really seem to be serving justice so much as testing power, which concerns me. You've got to put up some boundaries. Let's explore that.
Ooh, boundaries. At the word boundaries, you look down and your coat, your sort of waistcoat, is turning all white. It's turning more and more like a kind of like a lab coat. So that's sort of shifting around. The image in the Thaw's face is sort of starting to swirl a lot more. It seems to, its thoughts are kind of happening, but it's a little hard to grasp at what it's trying to communicate. So what do you?
I understand it's a lot to think about all at once. When you hit a breakthrough like this, it's better to process things slowly. Let's focus on small things. You are an extension of Saturnine, you belong to the indigo sun. I'm noticing, though, that we're in the blue. So it feels to me like there's a chance that you're reaching beyond your grasp.
Shayna begins to heckle from outside the dream. Boring! Like stab each other or make out or something.
Awesome. The dogs is sort of like coming back, but what do you do to sort of distract it or send it away? I feel like you're uninterested in the dog right now.
The dog, well, she was eating some popcorn, so she just sort of throws it the other directions. The dog chases the popcorn.
Excellent. That tower is still there, sort of freaking it out, and at the enticement of popcorn, it sort of goes off in some direction, snarling and buzzing and whimpering. Excellent. So boring. If you want to try to manipulate the stream at all, let me know.
Sure.
But I certainly, Calvin, looking into answers about the Thaw and Deathless Triumvirate is something of interest to you. So,
You're
like hanging on every word. Cool. So what's your next question for it?
I think that we should explore other boundaries that could potentially exist within relationships. For instance, what's your relationship with the warden of this place?
At the word warden, your coat is, so it's starting to feel really stifling. You sort of look down and it's not just some scientist lab coat. You see that it has the pharmacist's name that you used to get your medicine from back in Shadow is sort of written across it. And it's starting to... McPherson. And it's starting to really tighten on you. And at that point, the whole color of the room where there was sort of prismatic magic on the chair that had become a lounge chair, it's starting to take a darker tone. It's all getting a little more dark and blue as it's sort of, the dream states are fighting with each other. the thaw creature thing sits up halfway, just sort of unnaturally bending in the middle without moving any other part of its body. And it changes into so many beautiful flowers start just falling, like bouquets of flowers are just sort of pedaling out from its the place in its mask. And you hear a sweet voice asking, you have changed so much, but not all change is good. What change would you remove? What state would you bring back? So it's sort of turning and you find yourself sitting down, where you had been kind of maybe stepping up over them. You are sort of pushed back into that chair as the thaw is slowly getting to its feet and asking you, not all change is for the best. We can remove a change for you. That is how we will improve the city. That is how we will improve you.
Calvin sits there and he looks at it. His fear is not in him right now. I understand that this might be difficult for you to hear. You've been misled, I think, a little bit. What came out of you just now? It's justice. It's flowing from your face. Justice is a beautiful thing. And what you have to realize is that change is natural. And it's impossible to fight against it. It will always return.
Every step forward can be a step back. The magic can flow both ways. And I'm going to need you to make me a defense roll, as the magic is it is trying to force you to say some way in which you have changed. It is trying to pull a statement of something about you that's changed recently, and it's going to try to take that from you.
Cool.
So a piece of growth, some way that you've changed, some new ability you've learned. It's scanning through your recent memory, and it's going to try to undo the change that has happened.
This rules. What kind of roll is this?
This is going to be a mental defense. So there are 3 types of. It's basically a spell defense, and
so
you should have it listed somewhere if you have some pluses. But
well, I don't know that.
Actually, no, it would be skills. So
okay,
you would know if you've taken.
I have no skill.
Cool.
I have no specific skill to that.
Cool. This is going to be
I guess I have survival, but that doesn't seem. Yeah, that's a different type of thing. Okay.
Cool.
Although there is, I will make an argument for persuasion.
Huh. Because you're persuading his defense?
Because, I mean, this is a mental contest.
Resist, dodge, and withstand. So you're probably looking for
okay, so yeah,
resist the spell.
I have none of this.
No. Ooh, 200 bits for Adira. Is that a sort? That is a bene?
I think it's a bene.
Bene,
yeah,
correct.
that's
James.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Heroes.bar.
So then he is just going to roll it out. That is a 9.
Okay, a 9. Let's see, are you enhanced by anything?
I am not right now,
Okay.
unless, no, I'm not, because that's...
Excellent. So you can feel those tendrils stepping into your mind. So what sort of change or what recent growth or what new experience, it lands on that experience, but it is unsuccessful in excising it, but you note it.
Oh, Darcy, this is great. It's his heart.
His heart.
Calvin's heart. This is actually, I think, a reveal that Calvin understands only now. The heart that he has, the ardent heart, the heart of the storm, is not the original heart that belonged to Calvin Weaver.
Yeah.
As it reaches inside him, it's reaching and trying, and it's trying to find new things, and it finds this storm, and storms are immaterial. So I think it just passes through. But it doing that, it finding that about him, like Calvin understands something new about his situation.
Excellent. So it sort of sieves through the Thaw's magical tendrils as it sort of tries to excise it from you.
Shayna,
so you're watching all of this.
Bolts right up as this thing is now attacking Calvin.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I gotta wake him up. Is he still being cradled by all the vines?
Yep.
Or okay. So then Shayna's just gonna head over and just start sawing away at all of the vines that are cradling him in to try and pull him out of the tree.
The more you try to pull on that vine, it's like one of those, it's positioned such that the other parts are trying to strangle him harder. So, it seems to have some sort of, like pulling on it is not working, and slicing it seems to be making it get tighter. So you're gonna need some other way to do it, or excise it so fast that it doesn't have time to sort of crush him to death. Details, being crushed to death.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Those will help.
You could try, even just prying it back with your fingers, but it's kind of a delicate thing. It's really looking tight.
So,
This apostate's more of the blowing things up
yeah,
variety.
I don't really have a way to...
I mean, that is kind of a thing that Calvin struggles with too, is he is in a lot of subtle situations and has no access to subtlety.
I have
just
a lot
as
of subtlety
person.
around like lying and hiding objects and things like that.
Nice, yeah.
But that doesn't really help with this.
You could just try to talk to him, try to reach his mind rather than mess with the vines itself.
Yeah. So Shayna knows how to wake somebody up if they're in like a weird dream and things like that.
Yeah.
So she just grabs Calvin's head and kisses him.
Welcome to the Revolutionary.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And just tries to just wake him up through like sheer force of smooching.
I mean, that's
Delightful.
fairy tale magic.
Wow.
It should work.
That's amazing. I'm going to have you make a roll.
Sure.
For kissing.
Interaction?
Please roll. Yep.
Sweet. I'll spend a bene, and I'm also enhanced.
Do you want
Double
any
enhanced.
sortilege?
Oh, yeah, why not?
Nice. Zeros bar. This is your bene.
Yes, thank you.
Kiss and bene.
Cool. So that is a 9 total.
Yeah, that'll do. Did you include the +2 with the...
I did.
Yeah, nice. 9 is beautiful. You guys are rolling so hot today. There have been 12 great kisses in the history of Saturn. I don't know that this makes the list, but at least of the kisses that have happened down here in this prison,
Sure, yeah.
it's freaking top of the list, best kiss. Tell me about this kiss. Maybe
Yeah,
you,
so,
if you're initiating it, maybe Calvin can.
Shayna just sort of leans in and runs her fingers
Nothing
through
personal.
Calvin's hair.
And it is a wild mane.
Yeah.
And pulls and holds firmly, angling his head, starting out incredibly softly, just sort of softly pursing her lips, and then pushing him into like
A much deeper kiss.
a much deeper one.
Excellent.
Yes. Yes.
So how does this look from inside the dream? As you're, so you have just you sort of made a realization about your heart.
Thank you.
Nice. Replenish that bene. Lovely. What does it look like as you're being pulled from this dream? And do you have any last moments with this thaw thing that you want to get off?
Yeah. Okay. So here's the spell that I wanted to cast to sort of set up another part of Calvin's journey. And I actually intended to cast this in my at the end of last season.
Boy.
When Wayne was kind of going rogue. I'm going to be adding 2 sortilege to this roll using my power that allows me to add 2 sortilege to a roll.
That's a secret.
That is a secret. I am also going to be rolling a normal die. I am going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really trying to hedge my bets here.
Nice.
Because I need to hit 8 across 2 dice.
And so that says it's level 8 plus 2 dice. So you get 2 dice just from the card.
Oh.
You can add that with the sortilege.
Yeah.
Which, if you need to get that many, you may
Want some
want
more
to.
dice?
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's make this a big roll.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So many dice.
Okay.
Wow.
So that is, oh my goodness.
Is that flux?
This is a flux.
Is
Yes.
that's your mundane
That's
die?
my,
No, that's
that's my mundane die, right?
you need it on the sortilege die.
Oh, well.
I know.
I did succeed.
Good. Oh yeah, wow. 2 beautiful 8s there.
So here's what goes down.
What's the name of this spell?
This spell is called Ignipotence. I am
God.
like unto a god of fire. I wreathe myself in flames, granting me 2 distinct abilities. Anyone who comes close to me enough to touch suffers 3 points of damage per round from the heat if I wish it.
Okay.
This is not an action. 2, I control flame within a long range, like blah, 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 blah. This is also of the Gold Sun.
Nice.
So Calvin, while he is looking at this creature and has this realization about his heart,
Yeah.
across his skin, gold flames start to like envelop him. And a bright gold light emanates from him. His body becomes entirely wreathed in flames as he makes eye contact with this thaw, with this creature, and looks into it. And he says, like he takes a look at himself as he becomes wreathed in these flames and says, "I wear my heart on my sleeve." And I think he gets pulled out of the dream in that moment into a kiss that he wasn't expecting.
So as your flames illuminate something else, as the mask sort of clears the images it's been showing you, you see a symbol of three downward pointed triangles, 1 major one and then 2 minor ones. So it sort of flashes just as the fire of your spell has sort of illuminated something strange at the back of this thaw. So that is burned into your mind as you start to wake back into a pretty incredible kiss. A level 9, in fact, incredible kiss.
Yeah, his eyes, like he was asleep, his eyes flutter open, and then Calvin realizes 2 things. The person that he is kissing is not Librelite. How does that work? And the second thing, the person that he is kissing is a girl. Gross.
Oh,
no thanks.
Girl who's saving your life.
What?
All right, you're out now.
Are you wreathed in fire outside of the dream as well, or was that?
No, he is
Excellent.
not. And I think now probably the fear creature is diminishing a little bit. Like
Yeah.
that sort of like is oozing its way back into him.
And the vines are sort of falling away off of you.
Shayna gets up quickly, very businesslike.
Oh yes.
Yes. All right, you're out of the dream now.
We have to go. This place is not right.
Yes, that's the whole point of the trials, is so we can go.
No. I mean, it's a broken system.
Yeah.
You see a door. It's got some nice like wood paneling, and it's got a pretty golden doorknob with a bunch of carvings in it. It's back kind of the way you came-ish. It's sort of at one corner. It's freestanding. There's no wall there. You do not see a door.
Saturnine is broken.
Why? Why is this place broken? It makes no sense. We can do anything. Anything. Why are we doing this?
Because that's what they would have us do. The Deathless Triumvirate, the Thaw, the Suns, everything.
Okay, I need a couple weeks to think about this, I think. We gotta get out of here, come on.
I drew the devil card. It is the nemesis of Shayna of Secrets over there. It is very much about, dark bargains and such, so just saying. So you're double diminished, but yeah.
Double diminished.
Double diminished. Calvin moves over to this door. And he is just like, he thinks about taking the handle and doesn't. Then he just decides to kick it in.
Okay. Give me a kicking it in roll.
Cool. I don't know what it would take to kick in a door.
Ooh, redraw that. Beautiful. Thank you, Mr. McBetamax. Beautiful.
Seems like we're on a hot streak right now, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Suspicious Hound. It is of the Visions family. It's enhancing indigo magic and diminishing gray as reality is sort of taking it form. It looks like that hound may have a swarm of something atop its head, so that feels especially right. Yeah, as you are pulling apart the secrets of the thaw, I feel like it's a very appropriate card.
Yeah, I think.
So you want to kick in that door?
Yeah, kicking in a door to me just seems like a straight up roll that he's doing.
Yeah, I think so.
That's another 9.
Yo.
What is with this die? I love it.
Jeez.
Oh, can I have my die back?
Oh yes.
Cool. So you kick in the door. It's a powerful kick. You even hear it, even though you see no door. And it swings open, and there are now 2 doors behind it. One is wreathed in kind of gentle black flames all along the outline. You see these doors. The other has bits of gold and silver. They look like kind of mirror images of each other. The black flame wreathed one seems to have some kind of engraving in it, but it's all too like rusted or it's got too much stuff on it to really make out. And the gold one looks perfectly smooth. They're mirror images, so the 2 doorknobs are sort of facing each other, but they're freestanding. Suspicious Hound is about indecision and doubt.
And you said
So-
Shayna does see these doors.
Shayna does see these doors.
All right, cool.
You know that once you pass one of these trials, often there's an obvious way out.
Yes.
Calvin seems to have kicked the other door such that he's messed with the magic in some way, and so you
splendid.
think that you may get off scot-free here.
Shayna turns towards
Yeah.
the little furry fur monster that she
Yeah.
knows, goes, see you later, Punim, and heads towards
Punim?
the other 2 doors.
Nice. Gonna leave him to his fate. Yep. What do you think of these doors?
So these are, it's obviously, so one end of the path, right? Silver and gold.
Yeah, that would
Gold
be
it is.
rebirth and beginnings, which doesn't seem like the right answer here, right? Think about it. The trial, this system is a
Yeah.
cycle that insists upon itself.
Yes.
You pick that door, and then you just do it all over again. You stay in the same cycle. It's the opposite of change, which is not what these people want.
Well, these people want the opposite of change.
Well, exactly. That's it's the opposite of change. So the other door is a very scary door, and just gonna say not into that.
Okay.
Not into the aesthetics of a scary door.
There's the feeling of pressure building in this room, and it's sort of making it feel like there's a high-pitched hum or something, some kind of noise that's making your ears kind of like hurt a little bit, and kind of making all the other sounds that you're speaking feel a little duller. Something's changing in this room.
Oh, I think I'm having an anxiety attack.
No, it's the room. It's probably both.
That is not a comforting thought. Oh,
Yeah, your fear is definitely back.
I don't like this.
You're not meant to like it. We're just meant to choose.
All right, I'm gonna open the scary door.
Scary door it is.
Calvin goes to put his hand on the scary doorknob. Goes, oh, scary door. And he like looks longingly at the simpler door
yeah.
that he knows is the wrong choice.
Shayna reaches out and grabs his hand and makes him finish turning the knob.
Excellent. And as that door silently opens, that's where we'll take a 5-minute break.
Cool.
Thank you, folks.
Devil.
Yeah. We've made it all the way through the Path of Suns. This has been amazing. Thank you,
Very
folks.
good, very good.
And we're going to see where these guys end up very shortly.
Yeah, we'll be back soon.
5 minutes.
welcome back to Indigo, to Saturnine, to not jail. Welcome back to freedom. As our two recent escaped jailed folks step through that strange, silent black door wreathed in sort of dark flames. They find themselves sort of pulled through it, and they are standing on a rickety bridge. It is sort of rope, and it's got decayed boards underneath. A couple are made out of some sort of, makeshift glass, or, some piece looks like it's maker-shaped metal, just a bunch of random bits and bobs on this rope bridge functionally over just an immense chasm of strange rock cropping below. And then all around you are built partly into this rock cavern, built partly hung from strings and platforms, and the occasional floating magic rock is a whole neighborhood and series of neighborhoods. You are in the district of the Undersling. I doubt you've been here before.
No way has he been here before.
No way have you been here before. You might have. It's a really rough part of town. It is. Something is wrong with it, more so than something's wrong with the rest of Saturnine, in that it is really decaying. It's a place where things are going to rot and fester. It's a place of violence and danger, and where looking weak can really get you into trouble. So I'm going to draw a new card. Banished Serpent. Looks pretty cool. Is enhancing mysteries, I think. Nope. Yep. Which none of you, but pretty cool. So you are... as you step through that door, you find yourself pulled through, it shuts behind you and is gone. You can see that there's some people walking around, there's some like what look like fortified little stores, maybe a bar down that road, maybe a little courtyard down this way, but currently you are on this rickety bridge, and what are you doing?
No. Calvin starts like trying to cautiously but very, very quickly cross this bridge. No.
Be more quiet, Shayna says as she also follows behind him.
No! How long is this bridge? Does it like...
It's long. It's going to take a while, and you can feel the whole thing. As you get near the center, it seems to, pendulum out a lot more. So you start to really feel the shakiness of it as you're about midway through. You can see that two people, one in sort of a leather jerkin and one in what looks like, one's super gothed up, like just lots of like blacks and laces and stuff, sort of ruffles up to the neck and sort of all sorts of tight, cool black fittings, are sort of sitting by the post on the other side, just watching you. So you're working your way through this bridge.
He's having a time.
Okay. Are you doing anything in particular, or just trying to carefully make your way?
Yeah, Shayna moves confidently, but slowly.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
In your intense,
The
desire,
Wayne special.
Wayne special. It is a despair. It's a GM shift. As you notice that the woman who's in, she's got kind of unreal looking skin as you're getting closer. She looks like she's made out of, maybe it's a mask she's wearing, but it's perfectly smooth, kind of stylized face. You notice that she's moving her fingers a little bit, and so too is the bridge shifting. And you sort of have had your feet very solidly, but you're trying to go fast. You're trying to get off this bridge, and so it's starting to sway. And she seems, her companion in the jerkin sort of gives a little smile. This like really broad-shouldered woman with her hair pulled tight back.
Calvin can't even comprehend that like people are doing this. He's just freaking out over the bridge and the abyss. Why are there so many abysses in this city?
So why don't you make me a roll as you're trying to hang on, because this thing is kind of starting to throw you off. So this is about whether you can keep your balance.
Okay. 7.
7. Okay. So you're able to keep your balance.
Not gracefully,
Not gracefully, though. It looks really bad, and you basically get to the end of the post, and sort of hold on to that wooden stake that's sort of holding the rope bridge in. First time in the undersling, eh? The one in the mask is saying without the mouth moving. And you sort of carefully make your way. You're both off the bridge.
This is terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible here.
This is terrible.
This is not that terrible. You could be getting killed right now. That'd be more terrible.
There's plenty of places for killing, you know, the one in the jerkin says. If killing's what you're after, I can point you. Cadavers is right around the corner.
I would like no killing. No killing.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you for the offer.
Calvin?
Yes.
The two sort of share a look and start walking away. They're going to leave you dangerous folks alone. Yeah, so you're sort of at this little maybe courtyard kind of thing. There's a tavern around the corner, and further down is where the woman pointed and said, you can go find killing down at Cadavers. You would know that that's a really famous kind of brawling bar kind of place, like Fight Club down here.
This is not whatever fanciness, nice neighborhood you usually live in, okay?
I mean, okay.
People will stab you. And I mean not just me.
Do you have your knife out? Are you like looking big and dangerous?
She's got her knife out. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Are you under the impression that I would be more comfortable if you stabbed me?
Yeah, we sort of know each other.
No! No!
The no, even though you're trying to keep it down, sort of echoes in these quiet streets where everyone really keeps to themselves unless they're looking for trouble. And I think Shayna winces. You're very out in the open and exposed, by the way.
Then we are going to my fancy frou-frou district. That's where we're going. And it better not cost us any orbs to get there, because I don't have them.
You're broke?
Yes, obviously.
You hear some quiet flapping as the wings were sort of haphazardly being flapped sort of behind this building that's right in front of you, and you see a couple big feathers sort of floating away, rolling toward you like tumbleweeds.
Librelite has, told me that he wants to give me an allowance, but that feels weird and wrong, and I'm not comfortable with it. I just want to get a job so I don't have to deal with it.
Who's Librelite?
My husband.
Oh, okay.
He's like a... I don't exactly know what he does for a living, but he makes enough. I don't feel right taking things.
I mean, you're married. It's not taking, it's giving of love, isn't it?
That's what he says too. I don't know.
But I mean, like, if you want a job, I'll still give you a job.
That's right. That's right. Is that going to be trouble for us? We're not felons now, are we?
There's not really a concept of felony.
No record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty broken system. I need to straighten that out with my Garant later. That is not right. But, I mean, if you know work that I could be good at, like I said, I mean...
Yeah, you really wrecked that coffee shop before. If you want to wreck some more things, I know some great places you could wreck.
Like demolition work?
People might be inside.
Okay, see, that seems like another arrestable offense, and I'm probably trying to keep those to the minimum.
But they pay.
I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt people. I don't have an interest in hurting people.
Well, you'd be pretty good at it.
I know.
Did someone say hurting people? You see a woman come out twirling a pistol on her finger. She's got two pistols, two holsters on her hip. She's got beautiful olive skin and these dark eyes, and she's wearing bright red. She's twirling one of those pistols and sort of leans out at you.
Everyone is very cheerful, and I feel like trying to be helpful here, but no thank you. No thank you, ma'am.
That's a shame because you've taken some of my time now. What can we do about that exchange?
Well, I've got no money.
Got a beautiful knife there, sister.
Well, I would like to keep this. And
It's a
Shayna
shame.
just as it slides away.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, are you trying to rob us?
She puts out her hand. Barbados, I'm a gun for hire, and you've sort of taken some of my time, you see, so I need to be compensated for that. That was time I could have been spending shooting someone, killing someone, possibly for you, but instead here we are.
It kind of feels like you foisted this upon me, though, really, from my perspective.
It's called a shakedown.
So you won't admit to robbing us, but you would like to rob us.
You know, so
Robbery and
many
shakedowns
words
are
for
different.
such a simple...
Yeah.
I could take your things. I'm deciding to let you pay me for my time.
What do you got?
Calvin opens his jacket, reaches into the interior pocket, takes out a single orb, drops it on the ground.
She takes her heel and she steps on it and shatters it before you. A crystal orb, not nothing.
Ooh.
And she says, well, I'm afraid that won't do. She looks at the bracelet that you're still wearing on your wrist, and she sort of leans away from you as soon as she sees it, and she sort of gets a lot stiffer. And she says, one orb, you're not worth my time. Get out of the undersling, you know. This is no place for people like you.
I am so sorry that your robbery didn't go well. Good luck.
Mid-sentence,
Good luck.
she is whistling, twirling her pistol, and walking away.
Too cheerful. This place is weird.
Shayna looks at the bracelet on her arm.
Yeah.
What's that?
Judith put it on me. I assumed it was gonna fall off when we left the place, but
Unknowable Truth is the card I drew. For the record, and it's Shayna's.
Sorcerer!
Monty
Excellent.
Cook.
Yeah, so you're looking at that bracelet. That is odd. Things you would know about moving between the districts of Saturnine is that, like, you know, there's the Saturnine rail for most of the above ground districts. There's, you know, ways that would cost money. There's just walking. There's, you know, carriages and stuff. The undersling is kind of a different deal, and you've got to find one of the few entrances back to sort of Upper Saturnine. And so, do you want to make me a roll and see if you, like, know of a kind of a nearby exit? Like, do you know where you are? Are you familiar, or do you have to kind of go?
Shayna would probably just teleport there,
Yeah, cool. So,
which would require a refresh. Boop, boop, boop.
Yep. Can you bring other people on your teleport?
Nope.
I'll be fine.
Excellent.
So usually I just sort of bip out of this place, but
Bip?
you know, just teleport.
Okay, I can teleport. Where do I teleport?
To the exit? Do you know where the exit is?
I haven't been here.
Maybe I could draw you. She reaches into one of her pockets, pulls out a piece of paper and a pencil, and begins sort of sketching in what looks to be a sketch in 5 dimensions, mostly. She takes the pencil,
Oh, yeah.
draws a line up in the air above it,
Yep, there we go. Awesome.
one under it.
Love it.
Your nose looks like about here.
He takes it and, like, there is this bizarre,
Oh, yeah.
it, like, hurts to look at. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I will see you by the exit, I guess. Shayna?
Yes. And let me know if you need a job or if you need, I don't know, anything.
If you have any jobs that don't entail hurting people, that would be lovely.
I'm fresh out of that right now.
Well, it was very nice meeting you, Shayna. I am glad that we could go through this horrific experience together.
Yeah. Quick favor. Can you take this off of me?
I can try. I would like to try and understand what this thing is.
Cool.
I guess I'll roll perception.
Great.
That's a 1.
Yeah, it's a bracelet. It's got 3 gemstones on it. It's made of hard metal. You can see the fasten area, but what you notice as you're, with your knowledge of silver and fashioning things, you have a little bit of sense of like how things are made. Your close friend was a maker, so you think this is a really powerfully made item. It is not going to be. It's not something you can, kind of hack at and open. It's got some sort of elaborate magic sort of keeping it locked together. You're trying to think of the function or what it's doing, and it's really hard to tell. There's some like it's whether it's the casing is sort of obscuring what it's actually doing. You can't really get a sense of its function.
What do the gemstones look like?
Yeah, there is. How about 3 of us pick one? So there's one that's kind of tiger's eye. It's got that slanted, slightly off angle, like gold bands.
One that looks to be polished bismuth, just sort of rippling colors and throughout the rainbow and silvers and things like that.
Love it.
The other is a black opal.
Black opal.
Full of like orange and teal, reflections.
Inserts. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, really a beautiful set. It's got kind of polished, it's mostly silver looking band. Really no other identifying marks. You can't find any sign of like sigils or glyphs or anything that you could use to sort of look it up. It does feel warmer to the touch than necessarily you'd expect.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got good news, bad news, and badder news.
Okay.
Which would you like first?
Good to worst.
Okay. So I want to preface this by saying I am new generally to a lot of this stuff. So take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I could definitely remove this.
Okay.
The bad news is the magic that it would take to do that would probably hurt you quite a bit.
Okay.
The only way that I could see getting this off would be either harming you in a way that I find completely unacceptable, or forcing the magic out, completely dispelling it. And I've done something like that before.
Sure.
But if I miss, if I'm off by just a little bit, it'll get you.
Okay.
And I'm not comfortable with that. I can't imagine you would be. The worst news is this object is trying to prevent me from knowing what it does. Actively.
I hate those.
Yeah, it's not good.
You could always go ask Judith. I'm sure someone here would hack off your hand for you.
I'm sure they would.
Did someone say hacking off a hand? Says a spider that has legs made of saws.
Clicking together as it's sort of crawling over the building across the way.
You folks look like you're burdened with lots of hands.
Shayna pulls out a knife. I can do my own hacking, please.
All right. Well, if you need any limbs hacked off, you know where to find me.
Of course.
And it descends into a house, and you just hear screaming.
Yeah. A number of people
It's a hack
are
bit.
hackneyed. That's really good. Somebody take sortilege for that. Good fun. Let's give it to you. It's
All
your.
right, sure.
It's under your sun right now. Your,
right,
your
cool.
heart.
Okay, so I could possibly get it off, but I don't know what exactly. I wouldn't have enough juice left to teleport probably after that.
There's always taking, a rest in a lovely bar here and just.
I mean, if you want to
got
hang
time
out for
for-
some time.
Your instructions are great. Alvin's like holding up this page. But I think I'm going to be walking anyway.
Sure.
And it feels like I should probably have some company in this neighborhood.
Okay.
So if you want to try and take it off, I can make sure no one hacks your hands off.
Sure, yeah.
So, did you folks say hacks hands off again? I can't hear you. It sounds like you mumbled it. No one said that. All right.
Oh God, please make him leave.
Okay. Shayna is going to cast 9.
Ooh. That sounds exciting.
With a powerful utterance, I divide a target no larger than a house into 9 separate pieces.
Cool.
Each of those pieces is inert, inanimate objects, small enough to hold in one hand, regardless of the target size. Each looks different, but is indicative of the original target in some way. The point of this spell is to be able to take the 9 pieces and scatter them to hide the target.
Sweet.
If they're ever brought back together, it will be reassembled.
What a dope spell.
That's a great spell. So it's going to have a level, and it
Yes.
probably says +1 die. Or
It's plus 2 die. It's level 9.
Nice.
And she's going to use one of her sortilege.
Cool.
So I'll just put those back when I'm done. And spend some sorcery.
Yeah, so you're going to have to spend enough sorcery to cast it.
Cool. Which is all of mine.
Yep. It's a big old spell.
Yep. And I'm enhanced.
Your enhanced 1. Yep. So your adventure is the level of that spell. So is that
9.
That's 9, and plus
1.
being enhanced, so 10.
Cool.
And you don't know what you're going against, but it's going to be the magic of the spell.
Yeah. Cool. I've got a 3, a 2, a 5, and an 8.
Okay, cool. You start to feel your magic sort of like lay over this wrist, this bracelet, right? So you can feel it starting to work. So whatever you're doing is starting to pull apart the component pieces of this. Let us see what it gives you.
Louder than she usually would speak here. Since it's part of the spell, Shayna issues forth a loud break.
Excellent. With a GM shift, you feel that bracelet, it starts to hover away and over and starts getting kind of like its component pieces are pulled apart, right? And so the 3 gemstones are being pulled into 3 of the pieces, and so they're going to turn into something. The 2 halves of the metal band are going to be 2 of the pieces, so that's 5. There is a 3rd component that you can't identify. It's sort of a swirling bit of like gelatinous mass. So it looks like it almost looks like it has a heartbeat. It's sort of a little black, shiny bit of gelatinous stuff that's sort of and you know how like metal shavings, if you like play a certain frequency, will sort of like snap out into a particular conformation.
yeah.
That's what's happening with this mass, but then it'll get all goopy and swirly, and then it'll like snap into a conformation. So whatever that is another piece. So that gives us 6. The other 3 pieces are parts of you. Which are they?
Ooh. They are Shayna's left pinky.
Okay.
They are a small bit of flesh from Shayna's side.
Yep.
And let's go with...
Some kind of sensory
yeah, I was thinking...
or piece of
Yeah, some teeth.
teeth.
Yeah,
Cool.
like one of Shayna's teeth.
Like a canine?
No, like a molar from
Like
the
a
back.
molar, okay.
Yeah, a big
Like a
honking
big
tooth.
honking molar. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Those things are neatly severed and floated above like all of these other 9 pieces. And then they take on some other shape, right? They take on some kind of form.
Those are the forms that they take
That's
on.
it? Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if they have to morph. Nope, then you have 3 gemstones, 2 halves of a metal bracelet thing.
They just have to, each piece looks different, but it's indicative of the original target in some way.
Okay,
And they're small enough to hold in one hand, regardless of the target's original size.
nice. So you think that whatever this gelatinous mass is really you think that's the spell, the like most. There's some spells on the pieces of the bracelet. There's definitely some it seems like the 3 gems are kind of powering or activating the spell or focusing it some way. But that gelatinous mass is where you would look if you wanted to find out what this was doing or what it's capable of. So that's the spell. You find all those things sort of collapse on the ground before you. The gelatinous mass thing, sort of as you touch it, it kind of firms up and you can pick it up and move it around. So.
And then when you set it back down, it goes to pulsing again? Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, we got to scare these.
Bloody. So the pinky came off kind of nice and was cauterized like. Yeah.
But just bleeding right
But
from
you're
here.
bleeding from the side and your molar is definitely letting a lot of blood run forward. It worked. And then the 2 of you walk to the exit. And nobody who messes with you, let me say. You look messed up.
Let's get a drink first before we go.
Sure.
Cool. Shayna picks up her tooth off the ground.
Yeah.
Goes,
Oh,
pops it in the back.
nice. There you go.
You need to hold some of these, otherwise it'll come back together.
Okay. Of course, you hand him the blob.
Yeah, and the pinky.
Excellent.
Great. Good.
I'm gonna want that back eventually.
Okay. You are welcome to have it now. Calvin moves towards this bar.
Yeah.
You said that was like a fight bar.
Yeah, Cadavers. Yep.
Cadavers. So
It's a nice bar. For the undersling.
yeah. I like the idea of Calvin going in, walking in, he's got a pinky, he's got a pulsating blob. There is a sort of Star Wars Cantina moment where we get to just take in all of the wild characters that are in this bar.
Yes, absolutely.
And hey, chat, if you want to tell us who some of the bar patrons are, you can.
Absolutely.
I
Shayna,
I'm not 100% on us being in this bar. You've sort of given me the impression that the undersling is kind of a rough place. And
yeah, but I need a drink, so we're gonna rough it.
okay, but we're moving through this mass of people. I think things are getting turned over and shattered. I like the idea that there is this person that looks like a bunch of ferro fluid, and they're just sort of
nice,
oozing around, and they lash out at different things, smashing glasses occasionally as it laughs, its weird bubbly laugh.
Laughing along with it is a clown with boneless, noodly limbs, laughing and speaking in rhymes. So you're passing those two
Those two best friends.
best buds. That's from Drill.
Names equipped, a person with pythons for arms.
Literal python.
Hell yeah!
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of strange people.
Who's behind the bar?
Good question. I'm not sure. Let's see. Chat might know, or there's definitely one of the people who's behind the bar is a semi-transparent magical construct who's it looks kind of is built like a mannequin, sort of like a dress mannequin. So it's got the sort of movable nodes of the joints, but it's sort of translucent and is clearly has magic coursing through them. So not quite a thought form, but something like it. And they are using their strange jointedness to mix more and more elaborate drinks and you notice that at one point they sort of reach behind the bar, and behind them they punch a patron who had been trying to pickpocket them.
Yes.
So sort of eyes in the back of their head, very effective. Who seems to be the more less magical construct-y bartender?
Oh,
People seem to really want a rat.
A rat.
yeah, a member of the rat family, a rat family
Nice.
cousin.
Awesome, love it.
Yeah.
So I think this is a heavier rat than most of the rats that we've seen. This is probably
Is he muscle, or is he kind of gone to?
there's muscle under the fat.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
he's
rivulets of
big-
it.
There's
Yeah.
a six
yeah.
pack behind the keg, as
Yeah.
we say.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think he's just in a tank top, t-shirt,
and he's got a shaved patch on his arm to show off the tattoo that he has.
Oh my god.
And he like sort of greets Shayna.
Shayna wipes the blood off from her corner of her mouth, reaches into her pocket, pulls out one of those gemstones that she now has, flops it down, and goes, "Make me something nice."
Which gemstone is it?
It is the black opal.
Cool. Nice.
The rat has this like knobbly tail that's like clearly been broken and mended a bunch of times.
yeah.
Like sweeps it to himself and like goes and starts gathering ingredients. It's not as graceful a show as this many-jointed creature.
Oh, yeah.
He's just like and he's just going through his motions. Calvin, meanwhile, like has been babbling about this place and like, you know, actually Librelite says that it can be pretty dangerous if I'm in certain districts. And look, I'm not the sort of person to get caught up in this kind of trouble normally.
Make sure you make 2, Shayna says to the rat.
Oh, water will be fine for me, thanks. He just puts a gross.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you don't want that water. Look, there's not a lot that I know about myself. I've forgotten so much from my previous life, but one thing I can definitely guarantee you is that I have never been here. And as he says that, immediately behind him, somewhere, like, I imagine this place sort of works like some bars where there's lots of photos of regulars and the owner and whatnot.
And the people who are
Just
not allowed
right
back
over
in.
his shoulder is a picture of Calvin.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I think that is a not allowed back in this place picture for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. What does the picture look like?
I mean, it's Calvin fresh after a fight. He's got a black eye.
Nice.
His cheek is swollen up a little bit. And his fingers are like tangled in his wild hair. And he's just got kind of a grinning smirk.
Cool.
Clearly posed for that wall of shame photo.
So a doctor is the kind of help that you don't want to need, right? And so I think the proprietor comes up, a sort of slight man, soft-spoken. Everybody kind of gives him a perimeter, and he comes up to you. He's got sort of like curled hair, but very, very particularly placed. Everything about him is clean. Unlike the rest of this establishment, he's not a scratch on him. He's kind of got freckles. He's, just a very, doesn't look like he's ever been in a fight. Very slight man. And he says, well, it seems you're wanting a quicker way out of this place. Not a trait I've come to know you for, my friend.
Excuse me.
Shayna points to the picture behind you.
Did we decide that's the not allowed back?
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay. He says, well, as you know, I'm a forgiving man. Everybody is like actively making their way away from what's happening here. People at the bar just sliding away. You're drinking your drink.
Holding her side that's still probably bleeding a little bit.
Oh, yeah, bleeding, drip on the floor. And it just so happens we had a cancellation in the lineup. I'd be happy to show you a quicker way back to your upper areas of Satyrine, and to not even consider this a slight. I know that my establishment has a draw for many, and it certainly has drawn you back. Join the upcoming fight, and I will help you get out of this place at no cost to myself, at no cost to you.
In a fight?
That is what we do here. He gestures over his shoulder, and there's a sort of raised platform and some crappy like elastic rope and a lot of blood on this platform. And there's some entities sort of like hung up in the rafters, sort of looking down, waiting for the next fight. There's a body being dragged off into the back room. Unclear if they're still living. They're certainly not moving.
Oh no, we're not. I don't.
I don't like to hurt people.
He takes out a monocle, and he starts looking at you, and he's looking at your sort of chest cavity, and sort of moving it back and forth. Says, "Can't be right. Happy to extend the offer to you. That's a lovely knife you have there. One quick fight, and I'll have you out of the undersling before no time." I insist, and he tries to put a hand on yours.
Shayna pulls her hand back.
Okay.
As you can see, I'm a little pre-injured.
Well, we can bring you a pre-injured opponent.
I don't want her to have to fight.
My audience needs a fight right now. I don't care how you make it happen, but it needs to be a good one. It can be either of you two, or you can convince some good opponent yourself. You have 1 minute, and he walks away. He seems to be, instructing some underlings over yonder, and people are sort of scuttling at his beck and call.
You're a weaver, right?
Yeah.
Can you weave some of these bits of me back together?
I mean...
You have your green spell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can patch up holes and whatnot. Do you really want to fight?
Beats everything else I was doing.
Okay. I guess I do owe you. You did help me escape that dream earlier. Sure. Calvin rubs his fingers in his hand a little bit, and when he does, his palm turns green. This actually is not going to hurt. And he touches her side so that the bleeding hopefully stops. That will heal one wound.
I think that would be more than enough to bring you back up. So you should be good on health. I don't know how your pools are. Are you gearing up to fight?
Yeah. Shayna will do a longer rest before fighting.
Cool.
How many can you refresh when you do the longer rest?
You can, so it'll be the 10-minute rest, and you can still pick any one pool.
Any one pool.
So you have 2 action refreshes, and you have 1 10-minute refresh.
Okay,
I've done one
I've
action.
done one action.
So you have 2 more pools you can refresh.
Okay, so we're gonna refresh
Nice.
sorcery.
I have the perfect. Nope.
And then
I'd hate to stand against us.
Oh yeah, they only offered us 1
minute.
minute,
Yeah,
not
true.
10. Yep.
Well, then she'll just do the shorter rest
Nice.
to sorcery and cast a really quick spell called Decisiveness of the Blade.
Sweet. You are pretty blade focused. I love it.
Well, there's all these sweet apostate abilities about stabbing people,
Nice.
which she casts. Let's go over there. Neat.
Cool. All right, so you're getting all ready. What does it do for you?
It just adds Bennett to the accuracy pool.
Nice. Yep, that's helpful. All right, so about a little bit before a minute, you see that the proprietor Bode, as people are sort of saying, yeah, okay, Bode, sir, whatever you say, yes, yes. He seems to be standing up near the platform. He has a what looks like a weaver of some sort. He sort of has the some of the order insignia on his jacket. He has wavy hair and images of waves etched into his skin. He looks like this really intense man. And Bode starts, getting ready and introduces in this corner, Ander of the Deep, and the guy looks like he does not want to be here any more than you guys do, but is clearly in deep somewhere. So he's sort of, pulling his stole sort of thing tight and looking very serious and ready to get down to business. And fighting Ander of the Deep, we will have
Shayna's Mon. Hello.
excellent. Do people know you here? Do you see any people you know in the audience, or is it? in passing or friends?
Probably a little passing familiarity with a few different people
Maybe
in the
there's
audience.
a void punk.
Yeah, there's probably a few void punks from
Cool.
up in her neighborhood.
They give a barbaric yawp at you, little hometown pride. Perfect. And he says,
Climbs through the ropes.
now down here in the undersling, we say, he sort of gives a little opening speech. In many places up above, they say, violence begets violence. In the undersling, our response is, well, I damn well hope so. Now show us a good fight. Excellent. And without a moment, more than a beat, Ander of the Deep starts weaving something together. There's no real rules. He has not said, really anything. So whether or not, if you want to be magicking or helping at all by the sidelines, it's unclear. There's lots of little fights breaking out around. So someone may decide they want Ander to win, and they may attack you. But if you can do so quietly, there's no rules against outside help. So
Awesome.
Ander of the Deep is drawing together some kind of weave. It looks like he's pulling some kind of watery bit of force out of him. So he sort of pulls it from his left shoulder and sends it shooting out at you. So you're going to have to make a either dodge or resist roll.
Shayna's just sort of going to shoulder into it. to
Cool, that
resist.
sounds like a resist. Perfect.
Cool. Physicality?
Yep.
So I'll spend a penny for that to give another thing.
Boop.
That's a 9 total.
Okay. A 9 total. Jeez, liars.
I rolled an 8 and got +1.
I definitely need to, for the top of the round.
Oh shit!
Defender. It's the angel. This is the defender of. This is Calvin. So this is helping you out a whole bunch. +2 for Calvin right now.
Boom.
So anything you're trying is going to be extra great. So, perfect. But for you, a 9 will absolutely let you withstand it. So you let the water, the magic, this weave just pass over you, and that leaves you very close to this guy. So what do you do on your turn?
Shayna just goes for a few quick stabs right to the gut.
Okay, excellent. Make me a roll.
Cool.
He is going to be a level 4.
All right, I'm going to spend from accuracy.
He's not very good at the dodging. He's more of a big.
Cool. Oh, I'm glad I spent that. All right, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, geez. Plenty enough to stab him good in the belly. So you do 2 points of damage.
Sweet.
Yep. There are ways you can do more damage if you want to sort of attack at higher levels, but
Yeah.
for now you're just getting into the scrap of it.
It's like a hello stab.
Yeah.
It is a hello stab. Beautiful. So he sort of staggers back, doesn't like that one bit, but still seems to be quite up and at him. At that, he's going to try to elbow you out of the way and sort of push you back.
Okay.
So as he does so, the tip of his so that's round 1. I'll let you start acting on this coming round. The tip of his what is this called? This is your
Weenus, baby.
Weenus, yeah.
elbow. Not weenus.
I mean, that's the
Oh,
skin on
weenus,
the end.
yeah.
Yeah. I meant this whole body part. Thank you for that. Very helpful.
He's got an
everyone.
iron weenus.
He's got. All right.
Joe is dead.
Joe has
killed Joe.
died.
Murdered Joe.
There's a lot of splash damage at this fight. He turns to ice a bit of his elbow and
an
sort
ice
of tries
weenus,
to
okay.
slam it into you.
right.
So he's pushing you back. This is going
Cool
to be.
weenus you got there.
Yeah. You get no points for your bits, okay? So this is going to be a level 4 to dodge or withstand.
Shayna's just going to try and dodge, and I don't have any things in that pool right now. So, oh, hey, I rolled an 8.
Okay, cool. So you dodge out of the way, but in doing so, you're sort of up against the rope. So you don't have much further back to be able to,
Sure.
move to. So dodging out of the way, he sort of cornered you where he wants you. You're going to have an action, and also you will this round.
Okay.
Shayna's going to 1, 2, 3.
Magic is allowed, as far as
4.
you know.
She's going to
certainly
teleport
using it.
behind him.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Cool. So pop, or what was it? Bip. So you teleport behind him, and I think that's your action. Do you say anything snazzy? You're going to rile up the crowd in your favor. People are definitely booing you. They're like, here for Ander.
Yeah.
He was here in the bar longer. Who's this,
She was definitely going to say, it takes a lot more than that, dude.
Excellent. He sort of snarls. And the audience is like, yeah! What are you doing, Ander? Calvin, let me know if you're taking any actions.
Yeah, I don't think so right now. Calvin is like sort of watching and really taking in Shayna critically, I think, for the first time.
Nice. Bode, the proprietor, is watching you really closely. You notice every once in a while he'll like his eyes are sort of on you, and then he goes back to the fight. But he's interested in you for a strange reason. And I mean, you know, there's a picture of you back there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Calvin's got a lot on his mind right now.
Cool. So what do you do?
So Shayna just teleported behind him with the general hope to like catch him off guard.
Perfect.
She is going to rip one of the pockets off of her clothes. Do another forte ability to make it basically a little TARDIS pocket.
Nice.
And she's gonna try and capture him in the pocket.
Sweet.
The old bag of holding.
This is under a new card, I believe. I'm a little bad about rounds, but this is for Calvin, again, is being enhanced in imprisoning ice. That feels very appropriate. You are imprisoning some ice right now.
Yes, I am.
Cool. So
is this accuracy to get it down?
Yeah,
Sure.
I think so.
Awesome. Does my light close skill apply?
Let's.
It probably doesn't.
No, I'm sorry. It just does not.
All right.
And
well,
this
I have
guy,
one for my accuracy pool to spend.
Cool.
Oop. Oop. That's a 10 total.
That's a 10 total. Okay. I would give you more of a fight, but let's. Okay, so you get him in a no hole, I think it's called, or something like that. I'm going to give you lots of GM shifts today because you're trying crazy things. So that is a despair. So you get him in the no hole, and like ordinarily this would be you've incapacitated the opponent. But he seems to kick these fanciful boots he has off. And you can see weaves coming up through the hole. So you've got him, the boots are still sticking out of the bag, and you're sort of shoving them down in. But the boots are being woven with some kind of spell. He's casting while in there.
With his feet.
Onto his feet, and his boots fly off of his feet and start to try to entangle you. So the strings on the boots are trying to like grab at your hair and your outfit and trying to go for your neck. So make me... How are you going to try to resist, or are you?
Shayna sort of tries to swipe the knife that's in her other hand, just sort of around her wildly.
Okay, cool. That sounds like a resist? I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like resist.
Make me a roll.
Sure, I'll spend one for physicality.
Cool.
I gotta roll that die. I can't see it.
It's a 2.
Oh, that's a 3.
That's not very good. Yep. Okay, so it was definitely higher than
tangled by
that.
ropes.
He was pretty desperate with this spell, so it's a bit higher level. And so some of these take 2 points of injury. So that'll be. I'm tracking it over here. So 2 points of injury.
Cool.
As the strings are starting to slap at you and draw sort of a little bit of blood, just sort of graze you on your face. But the bigger problem is that the 2 tendrils of the boots are sort of, 2 of the strings are trying to garrote you. Not doing it very well, but are starting to pull at you. So you're sort of not able to move much. Are you keeping a grip on the bag, or so you're slicing with your dagger?
Yeah,
are you keeping that?
Shayna was probably holding the bag with her right hand, and the dagger was in her offhand left, swiping it around.
Minus one
pinky. So she's trying to keep a hold of the bag with one, and she drops the knife briefly to slide her now even slighter hand under the string to try and pull it out.
Cool,
so
excellent.
It stops. Yeah.
The audience is loving this, by the way. This is some BS. They're enjoying that he's still fighting from the bag. Bode looks happy that you're putting on a good show. Excellent. Are you doing anything?
Yeah, I think at this point, especially because like Shayna is now at the point of being garroted.
It's not nice.
She's got a hand in there.
He's working on it, but
it's not much of a hand right now.
Calvin.
4/5 of a hand.
Yeah, better than no hand.
Calvin moves his hand in a figure 8 pattern to create an infinity symbol to grab a strand of infinity, and then slams his hand down on the table and grabs the sound to make thunder.
Nice.
And just to show that Calvin, is trying to be clever, but is not really being clever right now. Thunder cannot be subtle, but he is trying to do this subtly. So he's like watching the fight, pretending to be interested, thinking about his predicament, about how this is yet another place that he has been, another aspect of himself that he doesn't know. And it seems that somehow, even with this new person in his life, this new friend who is troublesome on their own, his past is once again causing someone else problems. And he can't stand that. So smashing those two things together, I think this is just going to be a level 4 spell.
Okay, and what is you trying to do exactly?
He is he's combined Thunder and Infinity to create stars.
Cool.
The ceiling melts away into a night sky that is full of stars, and each of those stars explodes with a thunderclap that is so loud it radiates the air around it, and that air smashes into itself, creating sonic booms that echo down and ripple the water that I imagine these weaves depend on, making it unstable and kind of loose.
Cool. Yeah, give me a roll. So I guess it'll be against this spell's level.
Yeah. That's a 7.
Excellent. So it's beautiful, and you see a lot of patrons sort of put their hands over hearing apparatuses, hands. A lot of them are clearly reacting negatively to this noise. You notice that the creepy clown and the ferrofluid thing that we're laughing in the front are continuing to laugh unabated. They seem to be unfazed by anything.
This place and laugh all night.
You notice that the spider with saws for hands sort of comes in and is sort of coming in just as that noise happens, and it seems to skitter back, and so it seems to run away out of this bar.
It doesn't quite hack it.
But definitely this spell is sort of gets those boots that were magicked by Ander of the Deep, and they sort of they get loose, and even the knots that they were trying to garrote you with sort of get all loose and wobbly and sort of flow away like they're being brought by some kind of tide. These little sonic booms are sort of moving them and shaking them in new ways, and the stars are kind of illuminating that in a really beautiful light show kind of looking thing. So the boots clatter to the ground. Your hand sort of pries the last bit of it off. And you have Ander of the Deep in a bag, not entirely there yet. Are you going to try to close him all the way in? What's your action at this point? A lot of the bar is yelling. A couple people are pointing at you. A couple people are sizing you up for a fight. You've definitely drawn a lot of not great attention to yourself.
Shayna doesn't like getting strangled. So she's going to pick up her knife again and just start stabbing at the bag.
Oh man, nice. Okay, I don't think he gets a roll for that. So you are stabbing at the bag. People are shouting. He's sort of flailing about in there, and he's going to try to catch your knife from inside the bag. I'm not really sure how that works with your weird TARDIS bag, but he's going to try it anyway. If the knife is going through, he's going to try to grab it.
Yeah.
So you feel it kind of catch a little bit. He's trying to mess up your aim. So he's withstanding you a little bit there.
Sure.
And he's going to try to jerk it out of your hand. So
Okay.
make me some kind of strength roll or something. Maybe it's just a regular roll to try
Shayna
to hang
has
on.
a skill in sleight of hand.
Oh, that sounds
So
very
when
relevant.
she feels the knife trying to be pulled out,
Yeah.
she just quickly flips
Nice.
it back
Love it.
and hands him something else.
Excellent. Oh, cool. So he's trying to pull it all the way through the bag, and you're going to put something else in his hand.
Of course.
Love it. You've got some strange new objects.
Yeah.
The safe word is knife.
That is 8 plus 1 from the skill, 9.
Yeah, you guys are all rolling really hot tonight.
Yeah, we're on super hot.
So what do you put in his hand?
Shayna is going to give him one of the 9 from the bracelet.
Yeah, which piece of the 9?
One of the parts of the bracelet, it's the bracelet itself.
Okay,
The broken
so
into two
the
halves.
left half or whatever.
Yeah, the left half of the bracelet.
Awesome. So he pulls that inside the bag. Ah! You hear him yell like triumphantly, aha! And then, of course, all he has is this bracelet, and I assume you continue stabbing him.
Yep.
At some point, he says, I healed. What do you do?
Calvin is
some of the people in the
intense,
audience-
like very intently watching this circumstance right now.
Some people in the audience are like, kill him, take him out of the bag, and then kill him so we can see him die. In that,
We're not seeing it right now. You gotta. She's gotta take him out of the bag.
At where he says, I yield, Shayna just ties up the bag.
Okay.
And then just
hurls it.
underhand lobs it towards the crowd.
Oh, nice, lovely. Bode kind of is watching the both of you and gives a little slow cat. The audience is, dragging him out of the bag and punching him and having a whole fight. You can see that some people who he was here with are trying to help him out and fight back, but it's a whole bloody brawl. Bode gestures to the two of you to sort of meet him around the sort of back corner where there's a little office-looking door.
Shayna rubs at her neck and heads over.
Yeah, a couple people slap you on the back proudly. A couple people,
Hey.
look ready to punch you, but also you're terrifying, so they walk away. As you make your way through, are you going to go over by Bode? Who's gesturing you over?
Yeah, he moves over to Bode. His head is just full of thoughts.
Uh-huh.
He did nod when Shayna did not murder this person.
Yeah.
He'll move over to Bode, and he's now like eyeing Bode, trying to make himself remember this person, make himself remember this place.
Yeah. Excellent. I drew the rat, for the record, which is exciting. So Bode thanks you. That was a lovely show.
Splendid.
There are some in this quarter who much would have preferred to see you up there, but I respect what you've done here, and I think there's value in letting old stories die. And he sort of snaps his fingers, and your picture sort of is burned off the wall.
What did I do to you?
There is value in letting old stories die. And he says, he hands you a small bag of orbs. And he hands you a bigger bag of orbs.
Oh, nice.
Let it never be said that Bode is unkind or ungenerous. I hope we'll be seeing you again someday. If you go through that door, and he points to a door that was not there a moment ago, it will take you right to the exit up toward the far town where I imagine the two of you, Vizsla, are off to.
Thank you very much.
Calvin takes a handful of orbs out of the bag and slaps them down on the counter. I appreciate your generosity. And he walks out that door.
Okay. As the two of you are leaving, the big rat with the shaved tattoo patch sort of comes up and sort of grabs you by the roughly by the collar before you leave. Yeah, exactly. And he says he actually says nothing, but he kind of gestures over, and you can see that there's sort of this place is dingy as heck, and there's just sort of a little like pipe, an old pipe that's just exposed, and peeking out of it is like a little tiny rat, which sort of whispers to you and sort of beckons you closer, and says, we remember what you did here. We thank you.
He
and then
reaches into his pocket, he clutches that coin, and he sighs a heavy sigh.
Yeah. The rat scurries off, and the big rat family guy sort of lumbers back over to the bar. So as you step through that door, it's sort of a beautiful fall day. There's leaves rolling through. Let's see, this probably would have dropped you off kind of near one of the Saturnine rails. So it's kind of equidistant to both of your neighborhoods. It's a little bit of walk, but not bad. But you're in Fartown again. The air is so much less oppressive. There's some cute little tables out here. There's a little tea shop and a prosody nearby. This is just a really nice little square in Fartown.
Oh, can I have my pinky back?
Oh, yes, please.
Thank you. Do you mind keeping that gloopy thing?
Sure.
Think of it as a memento to remember our time together.
I will try not to think of it. I thank you for doing that. I don't know what to say. A long time ago, I think it was a very different kind of person, and maybe that person would have been really excited to do some work with you that got some people hurt, but I don't think I'm that person anymore, and I don't think that's a good person to be.
That's pretty fair. The sort of work I do isn't necessarily
It seems like there's a lot of stabbing involved.
There is. There's a lot of stabbing, but I'm pretty good at that part, so.
I mean, I will not argue with that. I guess I owe you a favor of some kind. So if you need me, I'm in the district.
Yeah, of course.
Just look for the lighthouse.
Sure. My house moves around a bit.
Okay.
But
I don't know why I would be surprised by that at all.
But I'm sure we'll run into each other again.
Yeah. Be careful.
You too.
Questing Knight. The justice, journey, determination, achieving goals. I think that's a beautiful card to end on. Do we want to foreshadow? You know, you said you were going to hire him for a job. Is there a letter that he receives several weeks later after development mode happened?
Yeah, so after they go out to see a museum of themselves and...
have that lovely haunting.
Yeah, go to a lovely haunting, which was all in episode 0, which was very fun. You should watch episode 0.
Yes.
Shayna sits down one day and writes a little note to Calvin that says, maybe I have some work that doesn't involve killing people.
I think like when you finish that letter, there's a tap at your window, and sitting there, like very patiently, swirling with color, is a peacock.
Shayna grabs the sort of glowing bismuth from the side of her writing desk, left over from the thing. Takes a small, looks like possibly cheese grater, grates it up a little bit, mixes it with some water, makes a little sort of like clay and seals the letter with it.
Oh, that rules.
Nice.
And hands it to the peacock.
The peacock takes it and flies away the way you would expect a pair of shorts to fly away.
Oh, perfect. Questing Knight to the card that was almost Calvin's card.
I guess I should have made it a swan. Damn.
I think peacock's appropriate.
Peacock's
very
appropriate.
colorful.
It's very colorful.
Yeah.
All right, so we will see what these two get up to.
Yeah.
There's lots of history, weird history that they're finding and fighting and living in reaction to, and we still haven't figured out what's up with that bracelet. So you will want to tune in next week as we get deeper into this storyline.
And we'll be here on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Yes.
We'll be that way for the next couple of weeks. So please join us on that. Before we sign off, I did want to point out, I think the reason that we were rolling so hot tonight is we've got the Diana Jones Award on the table.
It's so fancy. It's so Diana, so Jones.
Look at it.
It feels like
It's very ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's very cool. It's very tonally appropriate for tonight. I want to thank Ivan Van Norman and the folks over at Team Alpha and Geek and Sundry for sending this out to us. After Actual Play won the award at Gen Con, we got an opportunity to receive that award alongside some other really wonderful people like Satine Phoenix and Ivan Van Norman. And now it's our turn with it. We're probably going to be working to try and make sure that it tours the country a little bit, and a couple other Actual Play people get a chance to like hang out with it, take pictures, because we all earned it together, and that's really cool.
So huge thanks to Ivan for sending it out. Huge thanks to Geek and Sundry for sharing it around.
Yeah.
And huge thanks to the shadowy cabal that runs the Diana Jones Committee for selecting actual play as the winner.
Yay.
And thank you for playing with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Invisible Sun.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Thanks, Monty Cook.
Yeah. We're going to ruin your games.
You sorcerer!
He wants to just stop being a sorcerer for like one day. Excellent. So because the Kickstarter reached its stretch goal, we'll be looking forward to some cool stuff we'll be doing in development mode.
Ooh, yes.
Alan Linick is going to be involved.
Yes.
We're going to be looking into other kind of guest stuff. So get excited. We'll change up the format, and we're going to see where this season can take us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you next week live.
Yeah.
For now.
Stay safe in shadow.